What is happening, everybody? I'm Ivy, and you're Ivy Vibes. If you are new here, welcome. I gotta do my cleansing. If you are returning, thank you for coming back. Always forget to put that mic on. Anyway, if you are new here, welcome. If you are returning, thank you so much for coming back. Today, I am going to give your spirit message. And today's spirit message says, make sure you don't see yourself. Let me start again. Make sure you don't start seeing yourself through the eyes of those who don't value you. You need to know your worth, even when others don't. You are not what people think of you. And that's the one thing that you have to remember, because what happens is people will tend to project onto you things that they are feeling within themselves, even their own separate experiences, because that's really all we have. We are a culmination of experiences that we have gone through, or a combination of experiences that we have seen other people go through. But you have to find your worth. You have to know your worth and understand what your value is. This is one of the things that I actually talked about when I spoke on wanting to be an artist for Disney, wanting to be a fashion designer. And it can be a bit challenging, because I feel like this is why it's also so important for you to encourage young people when you have children. Don't put on your kids your own personal fears, because you have no idea of what those things, how that's going to mark that child, what it's actually going to do for them, and how long it would take for them to recover, to actually really build up a sense of real value and self-worth for themselves. I didn't really start to get a true sense of self-worth until later in life. You know, I believe I would have moments here and there, but it hasn't always been easy. And a lot of times I think I just kind of accepted different things that were thrown on me. And even now at times it is hard for me, challenging for me to find a voice to really speak up for myself. But nonetheless, I do. I don't like the idea of confrontations. And if you study your child and understand the way that they are, you should be able to tailor how you end up handling that child based off of their personality. You cannot treat one child like the other child. It's not going to work. I know that the way that my mother dealt with me was totally different than my brother, and it was my brother in a lot of ways that actually helped me to gain a sense of self-worth. One day, I was talking to my mom on the phone, and my mom was yelling. And I'm just like, and he's like, hang up. And I was like, what? I'm not going to hang up the phone on mommy. And he's like, tell her to stop yelling, and if she doesn't stop yelling, hang up. And I was just like, I can't say that to her. He's like, then just hang up the phone. He's like, I'm telling you, she'll stop yelling. He's like, because I don't tolerate her yelling at me. Like, you're grown. There's no reason for her to be yelling at you like you're a kid. And I just could not find it in myself to do it. So my brother took the phone from my hands and hung it up. When my mom called, and I was like, oh my God, why did you do that? I was so afraid. He's like, I don't know what you're afraid of. Like, you're grown. When she called back, she was not yelling, and she actually apologized. She was like, okay, I'm sorry. I know I shouldn't be yelling at you, but I just feel very strongly about, and then she just, proceeded to say whatever it was that she needed to say. And I was like, what just happened? But my brother was like, you have to start showing people how to treat you. And that goes into how you feel about yourself. What is your self-worth? And a lot of times what will happen as well is because someone may not feel good about themselves and they devalue who they are, they project that negative image onto you. And sometimes the way that they do that, how they think or what they do to you really has nothing to do with you. Because somebody can actually see real value in you and in who you are, but because of their own value that they place on themselves, they will project that onto you. And that's where you really have to understand what your value and your self-worth is. So again, this is make sure that you don't start seeing yourself through the eyes of those who don't value you, especially when it comes to relationships, letting people shortchange you, gaslight you, give you all these words with no actions behind it, feeling like they can do whatever it is that they want to you for whatever reason, maybe even taking advantage of you in certain little ways, like touching on you when you don't want them touching on you, and feeling a sense of what's the word I'm looking for? Ownership to a degree over you, or just not wanting to listen to whatever it is that you say, and really take to heart, like everybody knows certain things that they should be doing and what they should not be doing, but for whatever reason, sometimes people tend to value what they want over what you want or who you are, especially when you try to show somebody who you are. And that can be a little irritating. So make sure that you don't start to see yourself the way that other people see you. If it's in a way where it devalues who you are, you need to know your worth, even when others don't. Understand that you are not what people think of you. And sometimes you really have to show people who you are and the value that you hold within yourself as a person. So that is it for today. Thank you for coming to my channel and watching this video. I'm Ivy, and you're at Ivy Vibes. Until the next time, you guys, be well.